A crowning moment for the environment in Ghana. That's happening quite literally. More on that later, along with a bunch of other creative ideas for reducing our impact on nature. Welcome to a new edition of EcoAfrica. I am Chris Elems in Lagos, Nigeria. And here is my co-host, Malama Mukande.
Hello everyone and greetings from Lusaka, Zambia. It's great to have you along. Well, here's what's coming up today. Solar power is helping save babies' lives in Cameroon. A massive reforestation drive in Ethiopia benefits young people. And how solar panels can be used more effectively. Across rural Africa, traditional chiefs hold power that shapes the land and the lives of their people. But all too often, that power is used in a way that damages the environment rather than protecting it. We're off now to northern Ghana, where a new kind of leadership is emerging. Chiefs are trading in regalia for responsibility.
This man has been chosen as a guardian of the land to protect the future of the people in this region. Chief Edin Aglogo is now Supreme Environmental Chief of Ghana's Northeastern Bongo District. A coronation ceremony makes it official. He will be in charge of more than 40 junior environmental chiefs in the area. No tree will be cut, no bush will be bent. I urge the young people to stop cutting down trees and smoking in the bushes, otherwise we will hand you over to the Forestry Commission for sanctions. The Bongo district is facing huge problems. Tree felling has decimated the forest. That, along with climate change, has made rainfall irregular. Water levels in the Via Reservoir have dropped steadily. Sand extracted to build homes and roads, along with tree felling, mean precious rainwater runs off more quickly. Small-scale farmers like Ambabila Alagne are struggling to survive. 90% of farmers in northern Ghana grow peanuts. Right now, the harvest is not looking good. The ground is dry. This is food, but you can't harvest because it didn't rain enough. Even if you try your best to uproot it, the ground is so hard that you lose the nuts. When you pull the plant out, if there are 10 nuts, only 3 comes out. The other 7 remains in the field. We are facing huge problems. Chief Edin is well-traveled. At the age of 20, he experienced firsthand in the Sahara what water scarcity means and how important it is to leave vegetation intact. Back home, he became a passionate environmentalist. He earns his living as a farmer and he also breeds bears.
Everyone in this community respects him. Over the past 5 years, this community has changed for the better. In the past, a tree like this would have been cut by now. And there'll be nowhere to sit in the shade. Now, if you want to prune a tree in this community, you need his permission. That man commands good respect here.
The Water Resources Commission is in charge of protecting surface water bodies in Ghana. It now relies on local environmental chiefs. They enjoy more influence in rural areas than experts in the regional capitals.
Our local communities are such that when a foreigner comes, they look at you with suspicion. But when one of them, especially somebody who is an opinion leader, comes to them or comes to show them a way that is different from how they have lived in the past, which is detrimental to the environment, they are more receptive and they are more open.
But it seems there are still people who don't respect the chief's wishes. While out on forest patrol, Chief Edin discovers that firewood has been cut illegally and stacked on a tricycle truck. The loggers took off as soon as the team appeared. The wood and vehicle will be confiscated if the perpetrators are caught, and they will have to pay a fine. No matter what you do, there are always going to be some people who won't listen. See the destruction they are causing here. We will confiscate the wood, and when we catch them, the Forest Commission will decide on punishment. The wood will be donated to schools. They can use it to cook meals for the children. But it's often sheer necessity that drives people to break the rules. Many struggle to earn a living. For women in the Bongo region, weaving traditional basket is one of the few ways to earn a little money. It takes Grace Adongo up to 4 days to make a basket.
There is no business. So because of that, people cannot buy charcoal or firewood. So they have to go to the forest and steal from the forest and come home and cook.
Despite the challenges, the Eco Chiefs remain undeterred. They are working to reforest the area with funding from environmental groups like international NGOs, Tree Aid and Blue Deal. Farmer Amabila Alagne donated one of his parched peanut fields to the project. The trees are now in their 4th year. Once the forest has regrown back, it will retain moisture in the ground. He also hopes it will eventually lead to increased rainfall. Experts are optimistic.
This place used to be very degraded, less trees, and exposed to the weather, bad weather. And so with the presence of Tree Aid since 2021, the area has been restored, and this contributes to the ecological function of the river.
We are doing this to protect the place, forestry, and then protect the environment, the erosion. There's a gully here, which this one started, is locking it now. We are seeing changes.
In the neighboring village, Chief Aiden's strict approach is already bearing fruit. Vegetation is slowly returning to over 20 square kilometers of protected land, offering a glimmer of hope for nature and the people in this region. My impression after following these environmental chiefs for the past few days has been positive. I noticed that they are not engineers, they are not government officials. They just step forward to accept the title of environmental chiefs to reverse the environmental situations they found themselves in. They are reversing erosion, they are reversing environmental degradation, and they are achieving quite significant results. It means that with just our dedication, we can even improve our situations.
We go now to Cameroon, where a power outage is nothing unusual. In some hospitals, a sudden blackout can be a matter of life and death, especially for the tiniest patients. In our Doing Your Bit this week, we see how innovation and determination are improving newborn care and offering hope for families.
Little Najma was born 3 months premature. She owes her life to this incubator. It creates a microclimate in which humidity and temperature are regulated. Her body has everything it needs to grow, just like in the womb. The fact that incubators function non-stop at this hospital in the town of Fumbu is not a given. Here in Cameroon, power outages are common. Before we got these hybrid incubators, we used imported ones, but they were too sensitive to power cuts. The incubators are built locally in Cameroon. They can run on solar-powered batteries and mains electricity. The idea came from the entrepreneur Saje Jijo. He witnessed firsthand how a mother lost 5 babies because of a power outage. The tragedy spurred him into action. We knew that for a viable solution for us here, we needed to use renewable energy, which is cheap and reliable. So we opted for solar power and built a hybrid incubator that can function fully even in remote areas or places with no reliable power supply, thus saving lives. The locally made incubators are also creating long-term jobs. Production of the Mawao incubator started in Yaoundé 2 years ago. The models have proven effective and more than 200 have sold so far. They are also boosting the use of solar power. The hospital in Fumbu, for example, now operates 3 wards with solar power, one of which is the maternity ward. The incubators were financed by an NGO. They cost the equivalent of around 4,500 euros. That's a lot of money, but that's nothing compared to the many lives that have been saved. Najma is also coming on well. She's already breastfeeding, a huge relief for her mother. When I see my child so healthy and how she's developed so wonderfully compared to the first day I saw her, I'm really proud. It's a big change. And what better reward for the nurses and the incubators inventors too.
You can find good ideas that help the environment literally everywhere. And solar is the fastest growing source of electricity. Yet engineers are thinking outside the box to make this renewable energy even more efficient. Let's take a look at an innovative project in Germany.
In the mist, these vertical floating solar panels are perhaps a strange sight. But they can power an entire gravel pit, a pioneering innovation from southern Germany. What makes them so special? The 2,600 modules are aligned to catch not just midday sun, but also the morning and evening light, and on both sides. That spreads electricity production more evenly across the day. Conventional systems peak at noon, often producing surplus power. The solar panels rest on the water, floating like boats.
A sailboat carries its sail above. That's the PV panel. Below, the hull, the float, we have that too, and the keel drops into the water.
Like sailboats, they tilt with the wind and yield when there's resistance. Normally, systems like this are anchored to the lakebed. Here, ropes stretch across the lake to hold the platforms. That makes installation cheaper.
That way we need far less material. We don't brace against wind or snow. We bend rather than resist.
The output is 2,000 megawatt hours a year, enough to cover 2/3 of the gravel pit's demand. Gravel pits that have a quarry lake are ideal customers for floating solar panels, especially as their energy needs are high. The lakes form through wet pit mining, which reaches below the water table. Germany's southern state of Bavaria is key here. It's home to nearly a third of the country's 2,600 sand and gravel pits, 249 of them with lakes. So how big is the potential? The International Energy Agency estimates that by 2030, global renewable energy capacity will double to 4,600 gigawatts. Solar energy will account for 78% of this, wind power for 19%, and hydropower for 3%. And floating solar is gaining ground, not only in Germany. Pioneering projects exist in Africa too. Take Ghana. It's home to the largest floating solar farm in West Africa, located at the Bui Reservoir on the Black Volta River.
Panels are resting on the floaters, and we are using same floaters as the walkway, as you can see that I'm standing on one. For maintenance purposes, we are able to come and have a daily inspection, as you can see my team doing. So each day we do an inspection on the PV models and the cables that we have here.
The floating solar power plant currently generates 5 megawatts at peak output. The operating company says that's enough to power the closest town, Wenchi, with a population of around 40,000. Combined with the electricity from Bui's hydroelectric plant and solar panels on land, the plant can supply hundreds of thousands of homes with clean energy. Worldwide, the output from floating solar farms has jumped from just 10 megawatts to 7,700 in recent years. Another advantage, water cools the modules, boosting efficiency, and solar on water doesn't compete with farmland. That matters in regions short on space. In Germany, however, floating solar is still rare. Nevertheless, for hundreds of gravel pits, it could open the door to a greener future.
How can we get young people interested in protecting the environment? Certainly not by lecturing them, but if there is something in it for them, it's a different story. Ethiopia is overseeing a huge reforestation project. Last year alone, the country planted over 7.5 billion saplings, according to government sources. But that's not all. The Green Legacy campaign is leading to new green jobs.
It almost looks like a religious pilgrimage, but the crowds are heading up Alamura Mountain for a different reason. These people are taking part in a massive reforestation effort. The region has experienced deforestation and erosion. Now, with the rainy season just around the corner, conditions are ideal for planting trees. The volunteers are contributing to the Green Legacy Initiative, a nationwide program launched in 2019. Its goal? To restore degraded landscapes and combat climate change. Our village often experiences floods and soil erosion. Sometimes, the floods are so severe that they even wash away the new trees. But the ones we planted recently on the terraces are growing well. Across Ethiopia, 32 billion trees have been planted in 5 years. Mature trees prevent soil erosion and stop the land drying out, as well as providing a habitat for wildlife. This area used to be a plain and hilly landscape with no trees. Since the campaign began, the environment has become greener and birds are returning. The initiative has helped raise awareness of the importance of trees and led to new businesses too. Plant nurseries are booming. They help create jobs with a stable income, especially for young people. I had no money to support my parents, who were sick. I had to drop out of school due to financial problems too. Now, since getting a job at the nursery, I can support my parents and continue my education. Once mature enough, the saplings go to government institutions, NGOs, and private customers. We mainly grow fruit trees, including avocado, papaya, and mango. In addition to their importance for protecting the climate, the trees are also used for food when they grow. The avocado tree varieties are specially selected and are suitable for the local climate. In this nursery, 20 unemployed workers have been given permanent jobs, and 70 to 80 other workers have been given temporary jobs. In 2025, the Green Legacy Initiative is once again on track to achieve its reforestation goals. Trees are vital in the fight against climate change. They store CO2 and help cool the atmosphere by providing shade and releasing water vapor into the air. The survival rate of the saplings varies. While some studies report rates just above 50%, official figures claim an overall success of 80 to 90%. Planting in suitable locations and ensuring proper aftercare are key. The village administration and the local community are working together to hire people to protect the young saplings. My friends and I have also found employment by caring for the trees and protecting them from damage caused by people and domestic animals. The scale of the campaign is certainly remarkable. It's an investment in Ethiopia's future that aims to improve the climate in the region and raise awareness of the importance of trees. The initiative is creating jobs and boosting food security and bringing the whole community together, one tree at a time.
Zimbabwe's capital Harare is facing considerable ecological challenges, from flooding to pollution and a drop in biodiversity. Now, since 2008, the city has lost more than half its valuable wetland areas that naturally act like sponges. Rampant construction continues to eat up other green spaces too. But there are people trying to stop or even reverse that trend, sometimes very creatively.
In the Shapungu Sculpture Garden, in the heart of Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, nature and art are closely intertwined. And this fruitful symbiosis is expanding and growing. A tree with its blossoms, fruit and leaves is a masterpiece created by nature. It's a source of inspiration for the women and men who make their own creations from stone in its shade. In turn, the park in the artist colony of Shapungu is designed to protect nature. We decided to grow indigenous trees because some of the species might actually be wiped out due to the random felling of trees for firewood. If they vanish, they're gone for good. So we decided to grow them so people can actually come and learn about them, as they're vital for our existence. Nicholas Kadzangura is a sculptor and the manager of the sculpture park. He frequently gives guided tours for young art lovers. Many works here deal with Zimbabwe's natural environment and the threats it faces. One piece by the late artist Joseph Ndandarika is especially close to his heart.
He called it the friend of the rhino so that people can get closer to know the rhino and also to protect it. The more you become friends to animals, the more you don't kill them. You want them to multiply.
With only some 600 black rhinos left in Zimbabwe, it's a desperately urgent matter. The Shapungu Sculpture Garden was set up in 1970 and is named after the Bateleur eagle, sacred in Shona culture. The bird is considered a messenger of the gods and ancestors. This ancient indigenous knowledge is passed on during the guided park tours, which highlight the spiritual significance of nature conservation. For Marcy Moshore, widow of the park's founder, many sculptures here are animistic symbols of a nature-centered faith.
I'm an eland. That is my totem from my father's line. I am not to eat the flesh of the eland. My role is to protect the environment of the eland. I am to nurture its life, its existence, its being. Now that's a traditional element in our culture, and you'll find that throughout Africa.
For sprawling Harare and its 2.4 million people, the 15-acre park also serves as a green lung.
The high-density suburbs, it's a big issue, pollution. Not just land pollution through plastics, plastic bottles, but the dust. And there's not enough vegetation to protect people from the dust. That causes other diseases.
Citizens are also engaged in saving the city's wetlands. Drought and construction are threatening these areas and the vital role they play.
Because of these open grassland wetlands, streams are made here and they flow down into rivers, down into Lake Chavero. So if we cover the entire city in concrete, we are reliant upon runoff rainfall in the summer and no replenishment of groundwater, very little replenishment of groundwater to keep us going through the 7 dry months of the year.
At the Shapungu Sculpture Park, the hope is that by combining nature and art with relaxation, more people will be inspired to protect nature.
You look around, you see the flowers, the trees, the lake behind me, the ducks that were swimming there. And then someone tells you that this environment might not survive. The climate change, global warming, these things are affecting the things behind me, the beauty. Then you become concerned. You realize, no, I can do something. The little that I can do it. You tell your friends.
The artists at Shapungu are committed to passing on the message about Zimbabwe's traditional stone art with its special connection to nature and to previous generations. Nicholas Kadzangura often gives sculpture courses. The educational programs that we do and the workshops are meant to share the knowledge that we received from past generations. That knowledge must not die with us. It must be passed on, because this is not just art for art's sake. There are lessons that are meant to be communicated. Lessons taught by nature with its wealth of life and forms, which, along with ancestral wisdom, the artists of Shapungu reflect in their work.
Well, that's it for today. It's now time to say our goodbyes. And all the best from me, Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia. See you next week.
Thanks for joining us. Goodbye also from me, Crystal Lems, in Lagos, Nigeria. You can find plenty more EcoAfrica stories online. And do write to us and share your thoughts at eco@dw.com.